Yeah, that's pretty quiet. That's probably one of the most quietest V8 power cars I've ever heard of. Here's another episode of Universal Performance Enthusiasts. Right now, we have the 2013 Audi S6 that we have the pleasure of driving today to give you all a quick review on.
Like and subscribe with the notification bell turned on.
Let me adjust my camera here right quick.
This is a 4-door rocket. Produces 420 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 406 pound-feet of torque, available at 1,400 RPM.
So the Audi S6, this is the third generation Audi S6. It's not the C6, it's the C7.
The C6 had the 5.2.
The C7 S6
5.2 V10 engine.
comes with a
that
4-liter
less efficient.
twin turbo V8.
25%.
It's like a modified version of the original 4.2. But you know what? I take that back. I could be wrong, you all. I could be wrong.
The V10 was less torque.
I believe that the 4-liter V8 in here is a modified version of the original 4.2 power plant that they've been using all these years. But I might be wrong. I think that this 4-liter V8 is basically a detuned version of the 4.2. So you know how you can bore out and stroke an engine to make, you know, the displacement larger. You can obviously do the reverse of that to make the displacement smaller. So I believe, again, don't quote me because I could be wrong, but I believe that this engine is a de-stroked 4.2, de-stroked to a 4-liter. But if I'm wrong, I'll be sure to mention that later.
This power plant is more fuel efficient.
It's a 4-liter TFSI, and you can see right here, V8T, V8 twin turbo.
This vehicle is more for drivers.
2013 Audi S6.
This vehicle has a longer wheelbase than its predecessor.
So you look here.
Has sport-tuned adaptive air suspension.
Look at those large rotors. Look at those large rotors. Those rotors are huge.
These wheels are 19
Look at the
inches,
rotors.
by the way.
This special wheel right here,
7-speed dual clutch transmission,
was also actually in the
option.
previous generation. Some of the previous generation cars had these wheels as well.
Fuel
So
economy
the
is
C6
17
S6,
city, 27 highway.
some of them had different wheels and some of them had
presence.
these rims, the wheels. This color right here, I don't know the official name of the color, which once I figure out what the official name for it is, I'll mention that later in the video. This color is a cream, sort of a slatish cream color.
I have to say,
Well,
this
actually,
is
it's
one
a
of the
cream color, not
nicest
slate color.
interiors in its class.
It's a cream color.
Something that Audi has a tradition.
I'm going to turn it off right quick.
The car has optional Wi-Fi, which can be turned into a
So as you can
hotspot.
see, the wheel adjusts itself.
This Audi has excellent build quality.
Engine start-stop button. Multimedia button for, you know, CD, DVD, whatever. I don't know who still uses DVD.
And a very solid
but
layout.
It's still cool. So I'm actually going to kind of play around with it. Here's the key right here. Here's the key. Here's the Audi S6 key. That's cool. I'm actually going to take a picture of this right quick.
This car lacks dual
Audi S6.
moonroofs, something that most cars in this class had available during the model year it came out.
So interior right here is quilted, stitched, has a quilted stitching pattern. Here's the emblem that has been embroidered into the front seats here, driver and passenger. You can see right here, I'm going to close the door.
The door is heavy and has excellent noise isolation.
Authentic leather trim and wood. So
everything is still solid after 8
authentic
years.
leather right here. On these panels, this is authentic wood. You can feel the grooves in the wood. That's
There's
pretty
no
cool.
rattling.
It's real wood. Right here is real wood. All this is real wood.
There's no loose dash.
So we have wood, we have brushed aluminum, we have some kind of plastic, but the plastic is not cheap.
No chipping
It's good quality plastic.
or weird squeaky
noises. As you can see, this is, you know, scratched up. It's not a new car. It's not a new car at all. So of course, you know, this is a 2013. I don't expect necessarily it to always be in perfect condition. So what else do we have here?
The MMI multimedia interface controls navigation.
Go here. Actually, I want to start it right quick.
And entertainment.
So there you go. That's how you start it. It's pretty simple.
And the dash screen
this
flips up in
infotainment
traditional
system
Audi fashion once you start.
Right up. It's a traditional Audi thing that they've been incorporating in their vehicles for years and years.
I've noticed that ghetto aftermarket radio screens have
general
copied this
settings
pattern.
here, and again, I'm gonna kind of reiterate this later on.
The screen should have been touch
more of the
capacitive.
features. I'm kind of just basically doing more of an overview showing the interior of the car, but more of the tech specs and features will be covered later on. One sunroof here. Competitors from starting in 2013 incorporated dual sunroofs and moonroofs, so it would have been nice for them to have that in here. They don't. I'm going to get in the back right quick. And the interior here is very, very similar to that of the Audi. It's very similar to that of the Audi RS7 that I was in, that I briefly drove, which I need to make a new video on that altogether. The Audi S7.
The rear passenger seating area is adequately spacious
that I drove.
And comfortable.
I'm sorry, the Audi S7 that I briefly drove.
Rear
Had a
passengers
similar
get their
type
own
of look and
dedicated
feel.
set of
A bigger
control
version of
buttons.
this. Obviously, it's considered a grand hatchback, or they call it a sportback, but it's basically a 4-door hatchback.
This vehicle is great for
People call
long
it a
road
4-door
trips.
coupe.
It's comfortable
Hatchback.
and sporty.
Mercedes has theirs. They have the GT63. Audi has theirs, which is the S7 and RS7. And then, not Mercedes, I said
Plenty
Mercedes.
of legroom for a
BMW
long
has
trip.
theirs, which would be the Grand Coupe
More
series, the
real-world
M6 Grand
use
Coupe,
for
the M8 Grand
legroom than
Coupe.
most of its competitors
Those
offer.
things, the 4-door Grand Coupes, as they call them. And what do I think about them? I think they're pretty cool. So
again, it would be nice if the
here
display
it's pretty
was
comfortable.
actually
My
touchscreen
legs right here
instead
are
of having
kind
to
of.
use the
There's
knob,
actually a
which is
decent amount of
kinda
space. Believe it or not, there's a decent amount of space. Here's your climate controls, obviously.
that needs to be updated as well.
It's a traditional Audi thing. It's been in so many Audis over the years. I'm going to turn that off. It's unnecessary.
No offense,
need
but
that on right now.
Mercedes-Benz does it better.
Overall, I like the styling. You know what? Actually, it's the back. You can control the front with the back.
And again, this is
So
quite an
when I
improvement over the
when I
C6
turned on
S6.
the climate control in the back, it also activated it in the front. So apparently, I have to turn it off in the front as well. Okay. So that's interesting. Another thing that I want to say here is
Between Mercedes, BMW, and Audi,
it's quiet.
I give Audi second
The
place.
engine
and
is quiet.
Mercedes first.
Obviously, you can, the
BMW
stock, you
third
can
place.
always, modify your exhaust to make, the engine louder or whatever. But stock is pretty quiet. It has Quattro, all-wheel drive.
Too quiet.
And to me, Quattro is the best all-wheel drive system. I think Volkswagen has the best all-wheel drive system of any manufacturer right now. And they've
If anybody
had
else
that for
knows
years
of
and
a more
years.
superior all-wheel
Anybody
drive
else
system,
feels,
feel free to leave that in the comment section.
That's not true. Let me know in the comment
And
section.
again, subscribe to the YouTube
Again,
channel with the notification bell
Bose
on if
is the
you already haven't
standard
done so,
audio
to
system.
be up
Bose,
to date
of
with the
course they
latest
have
and
Bose.
greatest content. Feel free to also suggest
And,
videos
oh,
that you want to see made on
This is
specific
nice. You
vehicles.
can feel heating and cooling out of here on each side. That's a nice touch. Here's your lights. They could be brighter. They're not super dim. I've been in some cars where they've been pretty dim and I wasn't impressed.
It
I
would be
really
nice
wasn't
to have
impressed at all.
Additional options
I was
for
just
the
disappointed.
lights,
So I've
such as
seen
brightness
they're not
level
as bright as I
and,
want them to
well,
be,
color
but
changing.
they can be. They could definitely be brighter. I would appreciate it if they were brighter.
Or
that
touch
would be
sensitive
nice.
buttons would be nice too.
But with that being said, let's take a look at the trunk.
The rear seats do split and fold, which offers additional space if the trunk is not enough for you.
So here's the trunk right here.
The trunk is awfully small compared to its competitors.
And I'm going to actually
The trunk only offers 14.1 cubic feet of space.
give it one more exhaust rev just for you all to hear, to show you
Now,
how
the
quiet
trunk
it is.
large enough to fit someone
Just
in there.
to show you all how quiet it is
LOL.
stock.
Reminds me of
And
the
this
transport movie.
aftermarket one right here does have a lightly tinted film on both of these tail lights. So if I let it down, you can see that they're lightly tinted and they're not too dark. It actually looks pretty nice. So that looks nice. And yeah, right quick, I'm going to have one more exhaust rev done so y'all can hear this on camera. Again, if you buy this vehicle, I recommend you get aftermarket exhaust.
Listen to how ridiculously quiet this is.
Yeah, that's pretty quiet. That's probably one of the most quietest V8 power cars I've ever heard of. Really
The
quiet.
most quiet V8
but
power car.
to some people, they like quiet. It was designed like this. Audi designed this car like this because it's about subtleties. It's about having a sleeper car. This is what this car is. It's a car that's nice, it's luxurious, it has a decent amount of space. This is a mid-sized vehicle, but it's not screaming, look at me. It's not screaming, hey, I'm fast. It's not flashy. It's nice, it's subtle, it's contemporary. You can see the aggressive lines right here on this side and on the other side. It is stylish. It's not, like I said, it's not flashy like a Mercedes or BMW. So for those that like a nice amount of power and comfortability and daily driven features, then this is the car to get. Again, this is the engine. I'll go over engine specs a little bit later. But one thing that I must tell you about this engine is that you have to be careful of the turbos. When you have the turbos on this car, if the filters, the oil filters get clogged up, then the oil doesn't go to the turbos. If the oil doesn't go to the turbos, guess what? They overheat and they fail. If the turbos fail, then you don't have any, you have a car that essentially is down on power. So, the turbos are obviously not cheap. And from what I heard on the forums, the turbos are not able to be repaired. You have to replace them. So,
like this video.
If you don't have a warranty, well, I'm sure that gets pretty expensive. So
share this video on social media.
Again, this aftermarket one has tint on the tail lights. You can see that beautiful line running on each side of the tail lights right here. Beautiful line right here. It has tinted windows in the back, obviously. A little bit tinted in the back, or the rear windshield is tinted. You can see the back seat has a light tint. Up here, there's not really any tint, hardly any tint.
And if you already have
done so, right here, there's no tint.
Subscribe with the notification
bell. So that's good. Let's see how
enabled
many miles on the car.
Latest
and it is available for sale. So we have 84,690 miles on the car.
Stay tuned for the
180
next
mile per hour
episode where
dash.
there will be a POV drive.
The touchscreen, I'm sorry, it's not a touchscreen.
And if your car needs a detail, hit us up with the information provided in this card.